Hello and welcome to the, what is this, fourth episode? Fuck, I can't even remember.
Yes.
Fourth
Well,
episode.
this will. Yeah. Yeah.
Fourth episode of the, yeah, we're professionals. Fourth episode of the Cold Open podcast. My name is Joe, and I'm joined, Jesus fucking Christ, joined here again with my co-host, Allie.
Hello. I'm dying. I can't.
I need to write
Okay,
a
we're good
fucking.
now.
I need to write a fucking script for this or something.
You do. You need an opening.
Yeah, I've said the same shit every single time, and I still can't get it right.
Which we call ourselves the cold open, but we haven't done a cold open yet.
Oh,
So we'll get there,
don't
people. It's happening.
don't talk about it, because, I know I felt awful. The last couple episodes, they've been good, I think, but yeah, I'm not really living up to the name, so that's okay. We'll get into
We'll
it.
get there.
Yeah. Well, so Cold Open is literally just like doing a bit before going through the title. So I think we can get a hold of that pretty soon.
I feel like I can pull random stories out of my ass pretty easily, so could probably.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
We
funny.
can do it.
This podcast sort of turned into more like comic talk. But
Sorry, I tainted
no.
your idea.
No, it's not. It's not tainted at all. I like talking about stuff like this. I like learning. See, I feel like an analog for all the folks that don't really get comics. I've never really read too many of them, like I've said before. But I adore learning about them, and I guess it gives me a unique perspective because what I know about these stories is typically learned through rarely TV shows, but more typically movies and video games and stuff. So, I say that, and my friend literally just gave me the first like 5 graphic novels of Hellboy, and they're sitting right next to me.
Nice.
Yeah, have you read Hellboy?
I have not.
Oh my god, it's so good. I've been reading through these. The art is fantastic. The writing is really good. A little cheesy, but it's really good.
Slight tangent, but it reminds me because of comic books. So, I went on vacation up north to my parents,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of shops around there because it's tourists.
That's
And there's a
tourist
couple,
trap. I love tourist
yeah,
traps.
I do too. I'm a sucker for them. But there was 2 different bookstores and a I don't know, random crap store, antique place they want to call it when it's really just crap. So I'm like searching, right? And all 3 of them had sections for comic books. And I was mortified by how overpriced because these comic books were like crap. They're not even good books.
Mm.
And they're like $10 each. And I was kind of looking at them, and one of the salesperson at one of them was like, "Oh, are you interested?" And I'm like, you realize you're like overcharging by a lot, right? Because I can go to my local comic book shop and probably get this for $1. And she got like kind of mad at me. And I'm like, well, then don't come talk to me because
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad because this is really overpriced and it's not even a good book.
Yeah, but look
So,
from the outside looking in, like you could hand me a fucking any random comic and I'd be like, "Oh my god, that thing must be expensive, right?" Like it turns out no. Like most comics really aren't. There's the old ones, there's the Oh, another tangent that reminds me, my dad has like an original foil Spider-Man comic. It's, oh my god, I'm gonna have to ask him about it. But it's like a first edition, still in its packaging and everything. It's gorgeous, and like I said, it's got a foil, but it has Spider-Man and Venom, I think, fighting on the cover.
nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, oh my god, dude, we gotta talk about some Spider-Man comics eventually.
We do.
But that's not what we're here for today. We're here for the next in line to carry the Robin mantle. Yeah, so that was a pretty good segue. It's a pretty good segue. I'm learning. This is a learning process.
There we go. Yeah, poor Tim Drake.
Oh,
I consider him the punching bag in the Bat family because he kind of is.
this is what do you? So like, are you talking from the perspective of like fans, from the perspective of the Bat family, just in general, like a general punching bag.
Just in general, like I feel like he gets more crap. I mean, Damian Wayne has beat the crap out of him multiple times. Jason Todd has. Dick
Well,
has really messed up with him. Batman at the beginning was like kind of an asshole to Tim because he didn't want another Robin after Jason.
yeah, but
He
would
just
you want to try again after the spectacular failure that was Jason Todd?
no, not at all. But like, you don't need to be mean to an innocent like 12-year-old
Yeah,
either.
that's fair.
Like he was kind of shitty,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
that's kind of Batman's thing when it
Batman's
comes to
MO.
his poor kids.
Yeah. So, Tim Drake, he is the fourth, third. Fuck.
You get them confused. It's okay.
I am the worst. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Every like, even casual comic book fans are like, dude, what is this guy doing? What is he running a fucking podcast talking about goddamn comic books for? Anyway, we're gonna move on from that. The third Robin. So he's interesting. Because he doesn't really jump out to me. To the point to where like I've never even heard of Red Robin. I haven't seen it portrayed anywhere that I can recall. So what's Tim Drake? Where'd he come from? What's how did he get into the whole Robin deal?
Well, originally, his parents are very famous art collectors. Their mansion is next to Wayne Manor.
Hold on, are you serious?
Yeah, he like literally he can see Wayne Manor from his room, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god.
Or like at parts of his house. I don't know if it's his room.
That is
we'll say it is.
That's genuinely amazing to think. Like because we talked a little bit about this before. In the New 52 canon, which isn't canon anymore, is a
Technically
multiverse
everything is
question mark?
canon. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm confused.
I vow to never bring up canon again unless something is specifically stricken from the canon. And feel free, please call me out on it.
Okay.
But yeah, in the New 52, he was like this super genius that almost found Batman, like just by like I don't know, being a super genius, being basically doing Batman's deal without being Batman, and then like seeks him out and is like, hey, can I be Robin? And Batman's like, what? No, fuck you, kid. And then he's like, I'll show you, Batman. And he steals a bunch of money from the Penguin and donates it, and then the Penguin's like, all right, kid. And like goes gunning after his family and stuff. So, so he kind of pulls a really bad joke on Batman. Frankly, I mean, he really forced his hand, and that seems like a really shitty character development. So what is it?
And that's why the original is definitely better.
Yeah,
because he was at the circus when the Graysons fell. So he even took a picture with Dick. So like he remembers he was a toddler. So that's great. Trauma 101. That's like, the trend. So when he's a little bit older, he sees Robin do the quadruple flip and knows the only person that can do that the only people is the Graysons, and the only one left is Robin. And he knows that Dick Grayson got adopted by Bruce Wayne, so it was like really easy for him to figure it out. Like it was stupidly easy for him to figure it out.
I was gonna say, so like literally anyone who happened to go to
paid attention
the circus that day and paid attention would know. That's very I'm gonna call that interesting. That's very interesting. That's an interesting choice. But like I get it, like calling back to something that only this person could have done that. That makes sense. That's pretty easy, I suppose.
So pretty much that's his beginning. That's how he figures it out. So he keeps that secret for years and he doesn't do anything about it until Jason Todd dies and he realizes that Batman is losing it. He's getting harsher. He's beating people, believe it or not, harder. Like he's probably going to break his one rule at this point. He's slipping. So he originally tracks down Dick Grayson in Bloodhaven and is like, hey, you need to go be Robin again because Batman needs his Robin. And Dick is obviously like, no, fuck you, kid.
Yeah.
So then Tim Drake literally forces his way in and is like, I know your identity. I'm going to become Robin. And he does.
Wow. Yeah, well, he shows up. Okay, yeah, so he shows off his. He has to have showed off his his powers, or not his powers, his abilities, intellect, and
because he isn't a good fighter. He isn't the acrobat. Because Dick is the acrobat. Jason's the street fighter.
Yeah.
And Tim Drake was he's just a poor noodle. He had no training, no real talent, so he had to work harder than all the other Robins.
Poor little rich
because he
kid.
had no natural talent. Besides his intellect, which is kind of forgotten. He's stupidly smart.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. I think that's cool that they would have a Robin like that, because the first Robin, he, like you said, he's an acrobat, so he could easily keep up with a Batman and his moves, and being as athletic as he was, could probably pretty easily catch on to martial arts and learn from there. And then Jason Todd he's just a brawler. He's just a fighter. So,
Mm-hmm.
that also kind of fits in. And then you've got this boy who's the intelligent one. He's the detective one. He can outthink his opponents, and Tim is the one with the bow staff, right?
Yes.
Okay. So why does Dick Grayson have a bow staff in the Teen Titans cartoon?
I don't know. They probably just liked it for it looks good. You got to admit, with his
no, it's cool
fighting style, using the bow staff and doing all his fancy flips and shit all the time.
Yeah, it works because Grayson is an acrobat, and it just seems like it just works. Did was he known for any weapons or anything?
Dick Grayson?
Yeah.
His Eskrima sticks.
Oh, okay, he was the one.
And they electrocute you.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're really cool.
Damn, why did they go with that? That would have been cool, too.
Yeah, they're blue.
Man, okay.
They go with his theme.
Of...
Blue and black.
Blue and black. Oh, yeah, because he comes Nightwing. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. But yeah, so he becomes Robin through sheer force of will, determination, and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which I feel given more time, he would have figured it out regardless, because once he started getting older, Tim Drake followed Batman and Robin around and took pictures of them and their fights and stuff. So the fact that he could follow Batman around and not get picked up on, he has talent. It's just the fighting aspect, I think, is obviously the real issue that he was lacking.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
But he would have figured it out sooner or later.
Yeah, and I think, too, that leads back to another cool thing that I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but I think it would be interesting to develop. So because he... how many, there's a thing where when people mention Batman's prowess, he knows 27 different martial arts or something like that different forms. So in pretty much every form of martial arts, it all comes down to not just your dedication, but your I don't want to put this, like you put your mind at ease, like that's,
Hmm.
and that's kind of a cliche at this point, but when you learn to fight, you don't want to fight yourself. You focus only on your opponent, and I think that Batman really needed that at this point in time, because he had his first Robin, who they disagreed, he parted ways, became a superhero in his own right, and then Jason Todd, who dies like 20 times and just kills people. And so that, he just had these successive failures, and these folks already had this talent that, like you said before, they had this raw skill. Dealing with Tim Drake is sort of a different monster, because it's very, it's intelligence based, so he knows what he's talking about, he knows what to do, how to do it. So Batman had to learn, because the best way to learn is to teach.
Right.
I'm not sure if you've ever heard that saying before, but I definitely think it would ring true here, where Batman would sort of like settle himself back into, pulling himself back, realizing his flaws, and maybe trying to iron those things out through Tim Drake, instead of having like Jason Todd, who would exacerbate his anger issues, and stuff like that. So I just think that would be I think that's a pretty neat thing to point out.
Yeah, and it's like nice too because when you think about it, the two biggest differences is one, he had no natural talent and he had to literally claw his way up to the role of Robin. And second, his parents are still alive
Yeah,
and they stay alive for a while.
yeah,
So like he doesn't have that trauma or need to get
prove himself.
justice. Like he's,
Oh, I see. Yeah,
stable-ish.
yeah, yeah. I mean yeah, that's true. He is probably the most mentally stable of the of the Bat family.
Hmm.
At least in the beginning. I don't know what happens to him from there on, but um, yeah, that's actually an interesting take. Not to mention the fact that like he was rich. Like, come on, what did he have to worry? He didn't have to worry about that. That that's a big deal.
Yeah.
If you're rich, you don't think about it. Obviously, you have different problems. I'm not saying you don't have like no problems, but um, you definitely have different problems. And yeah, so he does offer a pretty unique perspective, I think.
Yeah, and he's so calm. Like literally every other one usually can even like Dick Grayson, like anger or lets his emotions run, where normally Tim Drake is so just analytical.
Mm-hmm.
He can push his emotions aside for the most part and
Yeah.
be calm and collected, and that's pretty rare for the Robins, especially when you get to Damian Wayne. That's like, I mean, that kid is just a ball of rage, and I love it.
Jason Todd 2.0.
Yeah, pretty much. Just younger and more stabby.
Oh, he has a sword, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
What
pokes
the
people.
fuck?
He pokes.
Like, how could Batman ever allow anyone, any Robin, to have a sword? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the only reason I know that is because he's in Injustice. That Robin is in Injustice, the game,
Okay.
and yeah, he fights with a sword. So
So pretty much after that, the biggest story point is Tim's parents get poisoned. Um, his mother dies
oof.
due to the poisoning. His father falls into a coma and is brought back to Gotham. Now, this is where Bruce really takes Tim in, and their relationship starts to grow and they start to bond. So eventually, Tim's dad, Drake, does wake up, and for a while, he becomes very resentful of Tim and Bruce's relationship, and then seems to like disappear and avoid them. And then slowly but surely, the relationship becomes more strained, and then his father figures out the truth. And then pretty much pulls Tim away for a while. So like Tim is no longer Robin for a good period of time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Tim Drake, and then after that, he kind of he starts to evolve again. Him and his father have a falling out, and then his father ends up getting murdered. And at first, I think he thinks it's an accident, and later it's found out that it's um, what's his name? I had it highlighted. The Boomerang guy, Captain Boomerang.
Are you are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang killed somebody. I mean, I don't know anything about this character, but a goofball that uses a boomerang, that's awesome.
Pretty much.
Murders his dad?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So that's a whole thing. And then even still, like he gets like he goes for justice, not vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very good. Uh, and then he goes and he forms his own team, which is the Young Justice.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read a lot of the comics, but I really like the characters. I really like Connell, to be honest.
Yeah, with that cool fucking jacket.
Yeah, I vibe with him. He's just cool. And after a while, they end up forming with the Teen Titans, and then Tim Drake takes over the Teen Titans, and Dick kind of officially becomes his own hero and like moves out on his own after that.
Does that line up with him becoming Nightwing?
Yes, I believe. Yeah, pretty much. Like officially.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was cuz I didn't know if Nightwing went
It's
back.
like it's muddled because he's
Okay.
already kind of Nightwing, and then he still gets like pushed out because Tim Drake comes in and like pretty much Tim Drake whole team takes over at that point because the Teen Titans are getting old enough that like,
They're just
Corey leaves, Raven's probably doing her own thing. I don't know what happens to Gar, but I think Gar stays with the new Titan. Cyborg at that point becomes part of the Justice League. So yeah, Tim takes over.
hmm.
So which I like him. I really do like that group because he has oh god, I can't forget his name because I love him and I'm like I love this character and then his name leaves my head. But I like that version, Impulse.
Okay.
I like him better as the Flash, to be honest. I just think he's really fun. I like Wally too, though.
I was
But
gonna say Wally West, if I remember correctly, he's the same one used in the Justice League cartoon. Um, he's like a linchpin character for me, in that show, and I'm not a big, like Flash follower, but he was always
mm-hmm.
my favorite part in the cartoon, in the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Just because he not only did he bring a little bit of levity, he was a little annoying sometimes. Um, but there's an episode that stands out in my mind when I think about the Justice League, and it's when they go to an alternate timeline. And the alternate timeline Batman like captures everybody. Um, I I can't remember. I think Superman goes bad or something like that in this timeline. But uh he outsmarts the other timeline Batman by speeding up his heart so fast that it reads as him being dead. And so the Flash in this new universe is dead, and the Batman in the new universe he freaks out because he doesn't want his friend to die for a second time.
Right.
And when the Flash releases his universe's Batman, he's like, how did he not get it? Like, how did I fool him? And Batman's like, who could possibly have predicted you? Or something along that effect. And that's great. Like, that's super, like, that is the most of a compliment that you're ever gonna get out of Batman. And that's neat. That's really cool. So Flash tangent aside, we gotta talk about Tim.
for being bad. It sucks because like I really like Tim Drake, but at the same time, like I don't know him probably as well as the other three.
Okay.
Just because he's not, I mean, besides the comics and the One Young Justice show, he's not in a lot that I can like find. Because again, it's not, sadly, even being a grown adult, I do not just have money to go blow on all his comics, which
Yeah.
is kind of sad.
Yeah, you're too busy. You're too busy blowing all of it on someone else's comics.
I think I own like 6 books.
Oh.
I don't actually own that many comic books. I just find everything online and read it there.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Or get bits and pieces, unless I watch it. I'm a big binger of shows.
Support your local comic book shop is what we're saying.
Yeah, please do. We have one where we are, and
Yeah.
it's fun. It's pretty cramped in there, but they have a lot, and they're friendly.
Oh, there's
So
one.
I need to go check
Yeah.
and see. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say there's one about an hour away from where I am. No, I lied. 45 minutes. Not that far. And it's phenomenal. And I'll have to get you the name for it because you might have already been to it before, but it's very good. And it was it was easy for me to walk in and check books out and know what the books were. And that's saying something because like I said, I am so far removed from being a comic book reader. So yeah, that's another thing I noticed is Tim seems like not that he isn't utilized. There just doesn't there just doesn't seem like there's a lot going on with him.
Which I think he's got some of the best storylines too, which is really hard. I feel like I'm saying that about every Robin we talk about, but I mean, like I said, I love him with his team because he's got Cassie, Connell, or Connor, and he's got Bart. That's Impulse's name. It took me a minute to remember. But like those, like as the four, like are so great, and I love their relationship in the comics. It's a lot of fun, and then his whole storyline with the League of Assassins is fascinating to me because that's like the closest I'm gonna get to a dark Robin besides Red Hood going full over because he really teeters on the gray.
League of Assassins,
which is great. Yes, that is Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, Batman's main opposition for a while. Talia is the mother of Damian Wayne.
Right. Ra's al Ghul was played by fucking Liam Neeson.
Yes.
That's phenomenal casting, by the way.
Yes, it was.
I don't know.
Fine with that.
I don't know anything about Ra's al Ghul or Raish. I don't know how they say it, but
I've always said Ra's.
Yeah. Once somebody corrects me, then I'll say it the correct way or whatever. But anyway, yeah. Oh my god, I love Liam Neeson. So like, him in anything works for me. But yeah, so the League of Assassins. So what did he do? What did he have to do with the League of Assassins? Did he combat them or?
So what happens is during the big cosmic event, Batman apparently dies to Darkseid. What happens though is the Omega Beams send him back in time. So he's like floating through time, like jumping all over the place. He needs help.
Yes,
like sticking
that's
back in the present.
Works.
Yes, it is. So, everyone's mourning. Damian Wayne has pushed his way in as Robin because of Dick Grayson, because Dick Grayson comes back and this is when he takes over the mantle of Batman. And in his dumb way, which you think he would realize what he was doing since he understands the pain of Bruce taking the Robin mantle and just giving it to someone else without talking it through. Well, he does the same thing to Tim. So at this point, Tim actually just lost Bart and Connor. They died. So there's only Cassie left. And during all of this, he's like, hey, Bruce is alive. I know he is. Something isn't right. Blah, blah, blah. Well, Dick is like, you're going crazy. You're losing it because of all the death you're surrounded by. And he tries to like turn everyone against him in a way. And like at one point, I'm pretty sure Dick is like, I'm going to throw you in Arkham,
Oh
which
my
is like,
god.
yeah, like it got pretty bad. Pretty sure he said that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure Arkham was threatened. So Dick, or not Dick, Tim leaves. He's like, fine, I'll prove it myself. Well, he ends up in Europe and runs out of resources because he's all on his own, and he's only like 17 at this point.
Okay.
Children, please stop fighting. Go away. Go fight in the other room. Um,
Fucking
so
calm your zoo down in there, would you?
I need a better recording spot. Because I'm waiting for the rabbit to start bouncing around. He hasn't yet.
Oh my
But
god, that's
anywho,
adorable.
um, so Roz finds him and is like, I have unlimited resources. I will help you not only prove that Bruce is alive and lost in time, but I'll help you bring him back. But as payment, you have to work for me.
Oh
So
boy.
he does. He pretty
Oh.
much he sells his soul pretty much to Ra's al Ghul to get um Bruce back. Like that's how determined he is to bring him back.
Wow. That's intense.
So there's yeah, it's pretty rough because then sorry, I got lost.
No, you're good. I was actually gonna ask. So, like, I don't get it. I don't get Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul. Like, I don't understand. Are they're villains, right?
Yes.
Like actively trying to beat
They're
Batman?
like eco terrorists. Like it's not just Batman. They're like legitimately Roz is I think like 600 years old because he uses the Lazarus pits to
Yeah.
like stay alive. And he's like built pretty much an assassin cult is what they are.
Right.
And he's like working to change the world by being assassins and killing people and manipulating and using his money and influence to get what he wants.
Like an Illuminati kind of thing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like they're pretty like you don't mess with the League.
Sure.
I mean, they're very substantiated and it's a big deal.
Right.
League is a big deal.
So, Talia, does she follow in her dad's footsteps?
She cut so yes and no. Um, it kind of depends on who writes her because she's an extremely inconsistent character. Because at some points, she's definitely not good and she understands that, but
Hmm.
she tries to be. And then there are some points where she's decent to Damien and she actually cares for him. And there's other points where she like lets Damien get murdered by a Damien clone and doesn't
Oh,
really care.
Jesus.
So like, and that's where it's kind of annoying because just pick a path and stick with it.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
kind of like the mother that's like not good by any means. So like, it's more of like you've upset my child. I'm now gonna torture you and burn your family down. Like
yeah,
I'm down with that. Like
it,
overbearing mother bear would be kind of fun,
yeah,
but they
that
don't
would be
do that.
cool, especially if it's a villain, because it's like I have my like world domination thing, but like you hurt my kid, so I'm using my unlimited resources and assassins to fucking kill your whole family and skin them. Like, you know, that's an interesting take. Well, I mean, shit, I don't know what else to say. That would be cool. I mean, I like I said, it's I know that our conversations are never very I'll say on track, but every time she gets brought up, it's always in a different context. It's like, oh yeah, she had relations with Batman. No, actually, she stole his DNA. Oh well, she helped Jason Todd figure out. No, actually, she's fucking killing people. It's very, it seems weird.
Yeah, she's horribly written sometimes because like too, it would be great because I mean, Damien's raised to be the hair, so he's like spoiled and treated well, but like trained brutally. So he's like this hardened little child, and I could just see him being like, "I want the world," and Talia should be like, "Okay," and go like literally just bring the world. Like that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my child wants the world. Let me manipulate and murder and do all this awful stuff to give him the world. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do that because I don't know. I don't know why they won't do that. But yeah, so he pretty much joins the league. He loses his spleen during all this because
His what?
his spleen.
His spleen?
Yes. So,
Okay. I'm intrigued. Go on.
but there's just this other cult of assassins that's like, we're gonna kill the League of Assassins, and they're like spider oriented. So one's
Okay.
like, I think Widow, one I forget, and it's really bad because I'm trying to find it in my notes. Hang on. My husband messed with my notes, so now I don't know where everything is. But pretty much, so he like is out in the desert with this team and a League of Assassin team, and all of a sudden this like assassin comes up and he kills everyone but the girl named Prue, and Tim gets stabbed in the spleen and he loses it. So then, thankfully though, they don't toss him in the pit. He's able to survive because that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, just it's so specific. Spleen?
Yeah, I just find it fun. And it's not touched on enough because like losing your spleen is a very big deal.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge deal.
No, right, like
So like you're on antibiotics, you get sick really easily, and Tim Drake doesn't sleep. All he does is drink coffee and Red Bull. And he doesn't take care of himself because he's a vigilante. So like why aren't they playing on that more? Again, like constantly like having, cuz sooner, cuz no hero remains in the grave. So like Bart and Connor come back. So like why aren't they just randomly showing up like during the day to make sure he takes his antibiotics and crap like that? Like that'd be great.
that would be
They just
awesome.
pop up, be like, "Have you taken your antibiotics yet? Here's some sleep and some actual food. Let's hide the
Literally,
coffee."
literally all they would need is one scene where one of them walks up and is like, "Oh, hey, here's your man." He's like, "Yeah, I'm taking them," and that's it. That's all they need.
Yeah.
Just call that
Yeah.
back. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fucking spleen. I can't get over that. That's so specific.
Yep. So he does finally he gets Batman back, and in fantastic fashion, there's this big showdown between Tim and Roz, and Roz is like planted all these bombs, and it's like join me, or I blow everyone up and blah blah blah, and he's all like, haha, I won. And then all of a sudden you hear on like Tim's comm, and this is because Bart and Connor are back at this point. And I'm pretty sure you hear Bart over the comm like, "Hey, we're in position." And Tim's like, "I'm not Batman. I have friends and I utilize them." So
Oof.
then he like thwarts it.
Burn. Fuck you,
And
Bruce Wayne.
yeah, I mean, he still gets his ass kicked and
Yeah.
thrown out a window. But it's the fact of like he legitimately beat Roz and then blew up all of like the league. Like he
Oh.
demolished over half the league.
Oh, that's
And like
awesome.
all the bases and dismantled a lot. So like Roz pretty much had to start like from the beginning. And that's why Roz deems Tim Drake detective and not Bruce Wayne. After that, pretty much, he's like, "Oh, this is like the one that's gonna surpass Bruce," and that's why,
Fucking
like, even now, he's kind of like, "I really want Tim Drake as my heir," because at this point, he's completely disowned Damien.
That's I mean, yeah, he destroys the Council of Spiders. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. That's the name.
yep, I looked
Council
it up.
Spider
I had
dismantled
to
them.
figure it out because it was bothering me.
And the biggest thing is he does all this without using lethal force,
Yeah.
which just
Yep.
proves how much better because that makes it so much harder. And he's killing like legitimate assassin metas without killing them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's great.
no, that's fair. I mean, like I mentioned it in the previous episode with Jason Todd, how like it's just super easy to kill. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy, and to bring yourself down that path, that Batman spiel. He mentions that he takes himself to a dark place, and he's not coming back from that because he understands that he's he's got a fucked up mind. He understands that he is not in a good spot mentally. So to see Tim do those things has to be like that's a proud dad moment to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you go from Jason Todd, who is straight up just I'm just gonna kill people, whatever, dude. Dual wield custom pistols, it's fine. Just start gunning people down. To Tim, who is every bit as smart as Batman. Frankly, I mean, uh,
I mean, Batman said it himself that Tim is going to surpass him within a few years. Like, he will be the best detective. He might not be necessarily the best Batman, because I would definitely say the other three probably trump him in fighting prowess, but he's going to be the best detective
yeah,
in that aspect, for
and
sure.
and that's the most important aspect of Batman. I think solving
Mm-hmm.
crimes is the important bit. Anybody can beat up people, like
Yeah.
for real, you know. Um, but to have somebody like we mentioned earlier in the episode, he like outthinks his opponents. He's like 3 steps ahead of him when it comes to combat, and I think that's more important than like raw physical strength or even like knowing different fighting styles and stuff. Is getting in the headspace of your opponent and knowing what they're gonna do and being able to be ahead of them, and having that awareness it's a rare thing. Not everybody can be so um not just forward thinking but like aware of everything, their surroundings, and each of the opponents and where they go, and just like a chessboard, every pawn, every piece rather, has its part to play. So I think that's cool. I think that I like that Batman mentions that he will surpass him in that regard, because I think that beating up the villain is less important than figuring them out, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and just again, like the fact that, I mean, Bruce Wayne was never able to best Roz. I mean, not at one point that I can really think of that's this substantial. And
Right.
again, Tim did it alone behind enemy lines with Roz constantly watching him
Yeah, I
as a
mean,
child without killing anyone.
yeah, that's yeah, that's a big deal, and without even the temptation to kill
Hmm.
anyone, really. From what I can gather, he just doesn't have that uh, darkness, I guess. I don't know. He just doesn't. It doesn't seem like killing matters to him.
Mm-mm.
So
I
that's
mean, he's definitely teetered, but and like you would think that he would at least be harsher, because like I kind of skipped it, but once Jason Todd comes back, because I kind of mentioned it in his episode as well. You know, he loses it during his pit rage and like focuses on Tim as like Tim took my place and I'm gonna go beat the crap out of Tim. So at one point he breaks in the Titan Tower and beats the crap out of him there. He beats him again during the Battle of the Cowl. And like he really thought he killed him,
why.
and we're lucky like Tim survived. So he gets that from him, who was really sad because it was actually Jason Todd was Tim Drake's Robin. Like that's who he followed
Mm-hmm.
around in Gotham. That's who he looked up to. And he gets the crap beat out of him. And it was never like, I'm taking your mantle. It was more of like, there was no other choice. And I felt like I needed to, which he
Right.
kind of did. Like without Tim Drake, who knows what would have happened.
That's yeah. I just it seems weird.
Yeah. Well, then there's Damian Wayne, the little shit. Because he, again, like, and it's hard because he's 10 and he's a crazy little assassin baby. So he comes in and he sees, and that was Talia too, kind of like influenced. And that's where like she's inconsistent because she influences Damien and is like, Tim Drake is your rival.
Mm,
So Damien's like, let me beat the crap out of Tim Drake to prove that I'm better. So he does that. He's constantly degrading and just cruel. And then the kid snap or like cuts Tim Drake's line while he's out in Gotham swinging around.
mm.
So that's just, awful. So, and then like all that happens, and then poor Tim still gets pushed out and then kicked to the curb and called crazy by Dick after all of this. And then, yeah, he has to go pretty much be an assassin without killing anyone for over a year just to bring back Bruce. And then it's still like hard because he's not, I mean, at that point, like you can't forgive and forget. So he just stays as Red Robin, is kind of slightly in limbo.
Okay.
So we'll see. He definitely just showed up in the end of this current Nightwing's current comic. He's like literally the last panel.
Oh.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot about that.
Spoilers for the past. We're gonna mention something sensitive for the current run for the Nightwing comic. Rewind and then skip ahead to avoid the spoilers. Thank you. And sorry, I'm an ass. Yeah, so that's good. It's good to hear that there's going to be more going on with him. I just yeah, like I said, it's really hard to research this guy. So I'm trying to remember cuz I mentioned him being in Injustice, the game. So I'm trying to... Because I know Robin uses a sword in that game, so I don't know if that's...
That's Damian Wayne for sure. Damian Wayne always has his katana.
Damian?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought... yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, obviously... What? Yeah. I see. That's why I wasn't getting anything in the search, because it's not fucking Tim. Fucking Damian Wayne. Yup. That's him. It's not really a katana. It's more of a straight sword, it looks like, but...
Normally a katana. Leave me alone.
Fucking weeb. Okay, yeah.
Crazy ninja assassins have katanas.
It's true.
Or tantos. I like tantos better as weapons. I think they're fun.
I don't know much about the tantos.
Twin tantos. They're shorter blades.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't know... Like, I know what it is, I just don't know anything about it. Because, like, popular media has taught us that samurai use their katanas. That is absolutely not typically the case. They're bowmen. They ride horses. And
well, it's funny. They act like samurais are awesome, noble warriors. Samurais were awful.
They're just mercenaries.
They were disgusting. Like, they had the power. No, they had the power. They'd just come in and be like, I'm going to take your wife. Yeah. And I'm going to take your land and all your money. And if you don't like it, I'm going to kill you because I can. Because I'm a samurai.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they had the fucking... You're right. They had the power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Tanto are kind of... They're swords, but they're considered knives. Or rather, they're used as knives. Okay, I was thinking of, like, a katana and a wakizashi. The wakizashi is the short blade. Okay, I see. Okay, anyway, honestly, I am not going to dip my toes into the Japanese naming convention for weaponry and who carried what when, because that is something that I do not know and like have a passing knowledge on, and I would be absolutely murdered for getting that wrong. So I'm just gonna walk away from this, walk that back. And so we've talked about Tim Drake quite a bit. What happens when he becomes Red Robin? What's the difference? Why is he Red Robin?
Well, because Dick Grayson gave the title of Robin to Damian. So then he didn't have a name and a title, and because originally Red Robin is actually Jason's name.
Okay.
So he took it, which I think is fair after all the bullshit Jason puts him through.
So Red Robin is literally like, fuck you, Jason.
Kind of. Probably
Yeah.
not fully intentional. It was more like he didn't know what to do and he needed something quick, and that was pretty easy because it
Yeah.
was already substantiated. I don't currently. I think they changed it now though, so it's okay. But I originally hated the earless cowl thing he had on his head.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right
Couldn't
now.
stand it.
It's
So his
Batman's. It's Batman without the fucking tall spiky ears.
I hated it.
Yeah, it's not
Big
good.
capital hate. So the new one's I think fun. I like the one where he's got his little face mask and his like suit has wings. Like his cape is kind of wings instead, so like when he extends his arms he can glide. That was a cool suit.
Hmm.
I like this.
Yeah, there's a couple pretty cool suits.
Yeah, with his
Um,
bow staff.
yeah, I mean, God, I can't believe I fucking mixed up Damian Wayne and goddamn. Oh, the fanboys are gonna kill me. I'm the worst at this.
Okay.
Don't fucking start a podcast if you don't know what the fuck you're gonna talk about. No, like I said in the beginning of this is a learning experience for me just as well as it is for anybody else. Because the goal really is to get people talking, to get people interested in stuff.
Hmm.
And like I said, I'm learning. I'm trying to, in this time of stress and you know current things, whatever. We're all trying to distract ourselves, and I think going back through the rich history of comics is a really good way to go about that.
Yes,
Um,
for sure.
I want to know where this little tidbit came from, where he was named after Tim Burton. I don't know anything about that.
I don't either.
It's
I didn't
just,
realize. I feel like he's older than that, but maybe he's not. He probably isn't actually.
well, 1989. That's when that was the first time he appeared, and that's when the movie that Batman, the first Batman movie that Tim Burton made.
Hmm.
So, yeah, and that's the one with fucking Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Oh my god, that was
Yeah, it was a good one.
phenomenal. It was really good.
It's a little bit harder because I feel my favorite storylines are just him and the Young Justice team that turns into the new Teen Titans. And then I just really like his whole having to be on his own
Okay.
and going against Roz. I think that's just where the other ones, there's like so many different stories I could pawn off of, where I feel like this one's kind of limited.
Yeah.
And granted, Damien's going to be even shorter because he's barely been around. I mean, he's actually a really new character.
Yeah, that makes sense. It would figure that the episodes would get shorter and shorter. I assumed, um, because we've had Nightwing, we've had Jason Todd, we've had those guys for years, and like I just mentioned, 89, 1989. That is not that long ago.
Mm-mm.
Um, it in the scope of comics, and also on top of that, consider the fact that the New 52 came out and then it was replaced by DC Rebirth, I think 2016, and then all of the new Warner Brothers shit. It's just, it's
I know.
don't fucking get me started, man. We already, the first fucking episode of this whole thing was bitching about Warner Brothers.
Well,
Uh,
like, I'm really worried now because apparently the rumor is that the executives hated the Batman and are like claiming they need reshoots and all
okay.
this jazz, which I don't know how much I believe this.
Hmm.
Because I was looking into it and some of the stuff they said. I'm like, I think this is more based in fiction than reality. I feel like they hate it because they know it's going to be really good. And once this is released, they're going to get shit for the rest of their lives because as a studio, as execs, they can't make a good movie. But when they give out the name to someone else, it's actually phenomenal, which has happened every single time so far.
Right. I mean, I don't know. He looks great.
He does.
He looks. Robert Pattinson looks like a phenomenal Batman, a phenomenal young Batman. They're like they're using the Riddler as like a Zodiac killer kind of guy, which I think is neat. I mean, we got Jim Carrey as the Riddler, but I mean,
If he's done
I
right,
love
it's
Jim
okay.
Carrey, but the Riddler always felt like a fucking joke to me. Like,
And he's
genuinely.
actually feels like, and even in the comics, and especially like the newest thing I've seen him in was the Harley Quinn series, and he's definitely kind of treated more like a joke in that as well.
Hmm.
But he can be pretty complex. I mean, he's smart enough. Like he gives Batman a run for his money for a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited. When I watch, occasionally I'll have the need to watch that trailer, and I get like goosebumps every time. So if this movie ends up
Dude,
being crap, you probably
listen.
won't hear from me for a couple months because I'm gonna go cry in a hole.
I'm serious though. I've said it before. When he takes that cowl off and he's got like the black paint around his eyes, he looks like he
Yes,
could be the Joker to me.
grungy. He just looks grungy and tired and
Mm,
dirty more than any of the other Batmans we've seen. Because
yeah.
even what's his face? Because I'm bad with names. Um, the newer iteration,
How are you
not
talking
Affleck,
about?
the other
How are you
one.
talking about the guy when he talks like this?
Yes, thank you. That one. He's like, even when he's like tired and worn out, he's still like, he's a movie star. He still looks really good. I'm like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't look like this. Where this one, his hair is disgusting, and I want to be like, take a shower. And that's
Well,
accurate, and I like it.
he gets like that when he when he like gets his back broken and he's down in a hole.
That's true. I forgot about that. I
Um,
still,
but apparently, from what I'm reading here, also you're thinking of Christian Bale. That's
thank
his name.
you.
Um, apparently there's supposed to be two sequels to this movie and a spin-off prequel TV show on HBO.
I'm so excited.
Like I'm worried. They're putting
Why?
they're putting a lot they're putting their whole hand down. They're like, "Okay, guys, this is what we got." And they're hoping that this hand is good. But I don't know, man.
Don't jinx it.
I'm
I swear. It's either gonna be really
it's not
good or
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
my fault. If it's bad, it's not
you're
my
gonna jinx it.
fault.
And I'm gonna blame you.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's just um I we've had DC has had this sort of like this resurgence recently, um less because of its popularity and more because of how popular Marvel was, and they're trying to kind of like
Hmm.
scoop up the piles and piles of money that Marvel has left in its wake for super hero movies. Um, but I feel like most most people would be fucking sick of superhero movies at this point. Like Marvel has
Yeah.
been releasing movies for 10 fucking years now. Well, longer than that, but we'll say that the first Iron Man movie um, was like their kickoff point. Um, and that came out in 2008. Holy shit, 2008? Oh
We're at
my
like
god.
13 years now.
Holy fuck. Okay, over 10 years. Um, consistently every single year we've gotten a movie and a movie and a movie and a movie and a movie,
Hmm.
and it all led up to like the Infinity War and like all these big things, and we're like, holy shit, like it's different from the comics, but we don't care because it's just like good movies. Some of them are kind of like, they're fine, they're passable, they work as movies, but as a whole most of them are pretty good, you know. I mean, obviously you've got like the shit ones like Captain Marvel and and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
um,
I would say like it'd definitely be Thor 2 is bottom, which I think a lot of people agree with. I actually liked all of Iron Man's
wait,
movies.
Thor 2, really?
Yeah, that was the Dark World. It's pretty right. Yeah, because Ragnarok is third.
Is Wait, which one
Because
was
the
Thor 2?
The one where he's fighting the Dark Elves and Jane gets infected with the Infinity Stone, and it's really boring
Oh my
and
god.
dull.
I've never seen that
You
movie.
even forgot it. Yeah, you didn't even know it existed. That's
I
why
don't
no one
even
likes it.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. 2013? How the Ragnarok was great though.
hmm Yeah, but it
Um
would go Thor 2, Thor 1, and then I would put Captain Marvel. And then what other? I feel like I've been pretty good on the rest of them.
yeah, I mean you could say Ant-Man.
I liked
Um
Ant-Man. It was fun.
no, Ant-Man was a heist movie and I think that's why
Yes.
it was good. It set itself apart from the rest of the catalog.
Yeah.
After so recently I've been going back and watching the Marvel movies. Um I've got to say I don't think the Black Panther is very good. Seriously. Like legitimately. I don't think it's like I really don't think it's on the level that everybody's putting it on. It's a fine movie, but
I
it
think
I
it's good.
like some of
The
the CG
soundtrack is what it is for
the
me. The soundtrack is what gets me every time.
yeah, the soundtrack's good, but like the CG in this movie is pretty fucking bad most times. Like,
hmm
and that's saying something. Most movies just generically look good. We've gotten to the age of filmmaking where CG is not quite as expensive as it used to be, or rather, it's more prevalent. It's become a craft that Marvel themselves have perfected. Hell, look at the first Iron Man movie, and just look at Iron Man's suit.
hmm
That motherfucking suit is the coolest thing that has, in my opinion, ever come out of Marvel. I love that fucking suit. The first, like, when he, that scene where he's like just taking out all these terrorists and a fucking tank shoots at him and the shot bounces off and he shoots a little missile at it and walks away and that fucker explodes in the background. That shit is burned into my memory and I will
Yeah, it's a
never,
great scene.
ever forget it. Never in a million years forget that scene. And that looks amazing. But then you look at the fight scene with Black Panther fighting his brother, whatever. I fucking don't even care.
I think it's cousin. They're cousins.
Cousin? Okay.
hmm
Um and that it just it looks so bad and the angles and shots are really shit. Um it's just oof. Like
It's like their mediocre parts are pretty apparent,
yeah.
but their good parts are like top tier. Because,
Yeah.
like, I right off the bat, the sibling relationship, every single time Suri and Chitala were on the screen together, I adored it. The chasing with the cars with Noki, I think her name is Nokai something.
Mm.
I'm so bad with her name. And the other one, like that whole scene is great, but then like there are definitely very lacking scenes as well. So I get what you're saying. It's like back and forth. So
Yeah.
it makes it hard to like say is it good or is it bad because some parts are phenomenal, other parts are lacking.
Right. And like don't get me wrong. Like don't get it twisted. I'm glad that the Black Panther did well.
Oh yeah,
But I think a
absolutely.
lot of people are kind of afraid to
That's it.
yeah,
And pick it apart.
right. And like I said, I went back and watched it and I'm just like, man, it's kind of boring. Not much happens. They do the same like battle scene where okay, well, I understand that Wakanda is supposed to be like this hybrid of futuristic technology because they're super advanced and then also like the traditional African stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome. Like the traditional African like Africa
The
being
costume design for that.
yeah,
Ugh.
exactly. It's amazing. That's really good. And like having Africa positively represented in Hollywood is just a positive thing. Um but at the same time, you are entrusting the future of your fucking society to hand-to-hand combat on a waterfall? Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously, take a step back. How has Killmonger I remember his name. How has Killmonger not only has he not done this before, but what happens if some other asshole is like, "Okay, time to use Wakanda's super advanced special fucking magic, vibranium magic, to take over the entire planet. What's gonna stop me? I'm the leader because I killed the other guy by throwing him off a fucking waterfall.
Right.
That feels like such a shitty setup. Like, having the traditional African, like I said, having that stuff is awesome. But I feel like maybe don't put it in the most important spot. Like, I don't know. The whole story hinges on a really dumb plot, and I don't like it.
But
anyway, I'm sorry, that rant's over.
no, you're good. Should we bring this episode to a close and probably give an ending this round?
yeah. It's unfortunate we didn't really talk about Drake too much, but there really isn't too much going on with him. Hopefully, with his representation in the new Nightwing comic, that we might get a little more. Obviously, we missed a bunch. There are stories that include him.
Oh, yes. I skipped a lot because some of them I'm not as interested. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard to, like, read through all of it because I'm like, meh. And then I know most of it isn't canon anyway, so I'm just like, meh.
Well,
canon's hard.
We talked about this confused. Earlier. Oh, yeah. Canon? What the fuck is canon?
I don't get it.
What is canon? I don't know. I'm not qualified to talk about that.
Right. Well, then it doesn't help me over here because guilty pleasure, I read far too much fan fiction to be healthy. And I read fan fiction on a lot of different things. So at some point you get to like what's real and what's not and what's actually canon and what was an idea that was posted a couple years ago that has just become fan fiction canon. Oh, so like my best example for like this is because I even saw it like on Tumblr way back when someone pointed it out. But like in Marvel, all of a sudden, name, cat or rabbits drinking water.
Yeah, I was I was like, does Ellie hear that noise, or am I just am I going crazy? Is it a mic problem?
Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. I have a lot of animals. They're going to make a lot of noise. I don't have a closed off space, and if I did, they would just bang at the door. So this is what we get.
That joke that I made about the zoo, it wasn't a joke.
We're not joking, guys. No. I have a lot of animals. It's disgusting. They're all well taken care of, I promise, but I have far too many in my tiny home.
I can't do that anymore. I used to have a big old pit bull. He's gone gray. Oh my god, he can't see and hear very well anymore. But he's such a marshmallow, and he'll bark. He'll just bark at stuff. Is that making a noise? I think it's making a noise. Woof. That's it.
But oh no, so I had to finish this tangent up.
Yeah.
So Hawkeye. So he's like all of a sudden in fan fiction, he was like known to hide in the vents and like scurry around in the vents. And we don't know if that was from at some point the movies, the comics, or if it was just bred in fan fiction. It's literally like if you pull up a fanfic, he's gonna be climbing in the vents at some point. So like stuff like that happens, and I'm like, oh, like that's where I feel like Tim Drake. I get really confused because I read a lot of fan fiction of him more than I do the comics. So I'm like, oh, what's canon? What's not? What's fake? What's real? I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. And like I said, I not really knowing the comics very well myself. It's this is I would consider this comics 101. Like introductory course. If you want to read these things, like I said, support your local comic book shop. Go down there. Maybe you'll find a book you really like. I mean, honestly, just pick something off the shelf. These people, most of them, have been writing stories for most of their lives, and they're pretty good. So,
or they're so passionate. Like I walked in like not owning a real like buying my own comic book before, and I was like, hey, I like Nightwing. Help. I have no idea what I'm doing. And she literally like was like, okay. And like we just chit chatted and she pulled me out like half my books. And I still have a reading list I need to go back and get. But buying like 20 books at one time adds up really quickly. Even though comic books are still really cheap, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well then
I was like, I need to fill up my gas tank before sadly I buy 20 comic books. So
right, no doubt.
Yeah. So this was Tim Drake. Definitely, I feel like it was a very light episode. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely try to when I do my review of the Nightwing comics. I'm sure he's gonna be a big aspect. So I'll talk more about him then.
Yeah. Do they have do they set like a end date? Like, do you know when the last run is gonna release, or is it tentative? Like, how does that work?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. When it
Okay.
comes to that, like I still don't understand publishing all the times because
Mm.
like I think the first date for the Nightwing comic was like the 14th, and then I got pushed to the 17th of this month, and then so it just keeps getting pushed to weird days.
Yeah. Well,
So
unfortunately, the big C doesn't really hasn't really helped with that
no,
situation. So
not at all. But right. But yeah.
yeah, that
So
was
Tim Drake, everybody.
yeah, yep, all 15 minutes of them, and then an hour of bunch of bullshit.
Damien will probably do just as bad, if not shorter, because there's really no to him.
Ah, so stay tuned for a worse episode.